ghost stories, I mean, it's been around for quite a while now, and it's been hugely successful. And what was actually the inspiration behind the film in the first place? What gave you that, oomph to write this kind of story?
Well, we've written the play, and the play, as you say, has been out and we're delighted to say, this massive success in the West End and then around the world, and over 500,000 people have seen it, and amazingly kept the secrets of the play. So it told us that there was a lot of sort of people who really enjoyed the experience, and we've been best friends since we were 15. We've always loved horror films, and we really wanted to take the experience of that show that's been seen all over the world and turn it into a film and try and capture, it was inevitably going to have to be different because things that work on stage don't work on film necessarily. But we wanted to capture the spirit of that play and the fun of it and the scares of it, and also have a whole load of new twists and turns and surprises and secrets that all those people that had seen it and loved it would get to experience all over again. And it's been very exciting doing it.
And I think because the show, the play was so personal to us, that we just wanted to maintain that for the film, and we wanted to sort of complete the journey that we'd begun with the play. It made sense to go on and do the film. Yeah,
and you also you have a history of working with psychology as well, and you do here as well, and especially with the medium guy, who's a fool, basically. Yes. Did you really want to have, to say to people, don't always believe what these people tell you? Did you want to put that in there?
Yeah. One of the things, we both love conjuring and stage magic, and it's something that also really bonded us when we were younger, and it's an interest that we've both kept up with. And there's really interesting lessons in that, and one of them is a very clear lesson of all is not what it seems. And that crosses over into religion and spiritualism, and a lot of the thinking, especially with the fraudulent stage stuff and some evangelical Christian techniques, are based on sort of stage magic and stage mentalism. And so it's very interesting to kind of prod at those things, because one of the great things with religious belief is that it needs to be able to withstand prodding and questioning, and if it can't, then it's not worth it. And I don't say that as someone who wants to bring it down. I say that as with any other belief system. You need to be able to point at it and say, well, it could be that, couldn't it? And then you look at that and think, oh no, it's not that, so maybe it is still that. So it's a great area to look at.
And it's also really exciting from a storytelling point of view because of the places that it allows you to go that are interesting to both of us. And also, but we love films that play with an audience, and so it allows you to bring in levels of deceit, deception, one thing looking like another thing that's just interesting from a dramatic point of view.
Okay, and it's also, I mean, like you said, you had to make a few changes from the stage play as well. I mean, what are those kind of logistics, the challenges that you have to go through to change those? Because they don't always, like you said, they don't always work when you convert them onto film as well.
Well, changing it from a play to a screenplay and from stage to film has real challenges, and one of those, there are a couple of real issues. The first is that the play clearly works as a jigsaw puzzle because it's run very well in front of audiences for a long time. But a few of the key things that make it work, you can't take and use on stage, on film, because they just make no sense in that world. So we had to really pull it apart and try and put it back together again. And that's a really challenging process. It took us about 1.5 years to do it.
And we went through many different versions. That was the thing. So we tried lots of things until we hit upon the thing that felt right. And that was an ongoing process. That wasn't just even when we were writing the script. It went right through into making it and into the edit as well.
Yeah.
We were changing things until quite late into the edit, just to fully make it a film away from the play.
Mm. Okay. And also you use a brilliant humour as well to it, so just lighten it up a little bit. How do you go about balancing between that horror story and having the comedy as well?
I think it's quite a natural process going between the comedy and the scares. I think it was, it's just a felt thing. And one of the great things about when you're collaborating, when you're working together, is is you've immediately got an audience, you know, and so if I'm making him laugh or he's making me laugh,
Doesn't happen often. Yeah.
then you know you're onto something. And equally with the scary stuff as well, you know, it's always delicious to throw out an idea and then have Andy come back and you know, and say, well, that's good, and vice versa. So
I mean, often the moments you look at that you watch for us, that we watch on the stage or we watch on the film, that excite us the most, are born out of the moments where you can't believe you've said X to the other person. You said, what about, you dared to say something out loud, you know, risking either embarrassment or you can't do that, you know. And they're the moments that you look at and think, oh, I can't believe we've done that. That's so fun.
Yeah. And also your cast as well. You've got such a brilliant cast that you've brought on here as well. How did you go about finding the right guys for the roles?
Well, we've been very blessed with our cast, you know, in so many respects. The first is that every one of those actors, Paul Whitehouse, Alex Lawther, Martin Freeman, let alone truly every other actor in the film, they are our first choices. And it was such a joy to be able to send the script out to people or to meet people that you sort of think, oh God, I hope they like it, you know, and have them come back and say, yeah, we'd love to do it. So it's been amazing, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it was a really exciting process as well, you know, to sort of creatively think about who would be the best person for that role, and then have the thrill of actually being able to get those people.
It's also it's quite male centric as well. I mean, is there a kind of theme surrounding masculine issues around it as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things about the story. It's not that we don't want to work with women. It's just that this particular story is, as you rightly say, it's a very male story about very male issues / problems.
And I think that grew out of the way that we worked on it when we were first working on the play, is that we were digging into very personal things, particularly from our own childhoods, and you know, what it was like to be a young teenage boy growing up, and particularly at that time, you know, and you being in amongst your male peers, and that absolutely fed in all the way through. And it's interesting. I don't think much has changed.
No,
you know,
yeah.
If anything, it's probably got worse. You know.
Oh God, I mean, we've both got kids, not together. I mean, but you know, we both have families, and we've both got 2 children each, and mine are older now. But I would dread to be a teenager now, with social media and sexual politics. I think it's the most complex minefield time. I cannot imagine what it's like. I cannot imagine it. So I think there are, you know, real difficulties and real things that are out there, always.
Yeah. And going back to the film as well, with the supernatural kind of elements to it, have you guys ever experienced anything yourselves that maybe, you know, helped influence some of the story?
Well, I think we're both probably on the sceptical side when it comes to supernatural things, but the thing is, we've known each other for such a long time. There's loads of shared experiences. I mean, one of them was when we very first met in the summer camp where we met, staging a fake séance. Do you remember?
Yeah, of course. I remember.
Coming up with a story that there was a school, public school that we were staying in, that a girl had been murdered there, and that her ghost haunted the very dormitory we were in.
Did we make some talc, a pot of talc go flying?
I think we did, and there was a Ouija board in a glass.
Yes.
And yes, so you know, it goes back a long way.
We haven't grown up.
I think all kids have those. I think I had that as well when we were at school, and there was loads of different ghost stories.
I've got a fantastic Ouija board at home now. There's a place in LA called the Magic Castle that's in Hollywood, and it's brilliant. It's an amazing place, and they had a fire there 3 years ago that almost burnt it down. Thank God they stopped it. But God bless them, out of the burnt wood from the top turret, they made 200 Ouija boards out of this scorched wood, of which I have one of those. It's fantastic.
Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely to talk to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!